This is Antique Audio, and I am Bruce Genu. I have a very special disc here on the platter. In fact, I had to get a new platter. This is a custom modified Audio-Technica platter to accommodate this disc. This is a Vitaphone disc. It's 16 inches in diameter, and it runs at 33 1/3 RPM like modern records do. But these discs were the first to provide sound to movies, at least commercially successful sound to film. You see, Vitaphone developed a technique to make and sync discs to the reel that is playing. And so these 16-inch discs would take up about a reel of film, which is about 10 minutes long or so. The very first sound film using the Vitaphone system was 1926 Don Juan. Although it didn't have dialogue, it was the first film to have a synchronized soundtrack, and that soundtrack was brought to you by a disc like this. Actually, several discs like this. More importantly, the first feature film to have dialogue that was synced to the actual image was The Jazz Singer, and that was done with the Vitaphone disc as well. Although extremely popular, The Jazz Singer is a little problematic. Of course, Al Jolson performed in blackface. Ugh. And essentially, The Jazz Singer is a silent film. Only about 15 to 20 minutes is synchronized sound. But it includes the first spoken dialogue, including this ad-lib scene.
Wait a minute, you ain't heard nothing yet. Wait a minute, I tell you, you ain't heard nothing. You want to hear toot-toot-tootsie? All right, hold on.
Vitaphone also made a lot of shorts during that period, from 1926 or so to the early 30s. And these shorts were designed to feature a wide variety of entertainment, from comedy to vaudeville to jazz. George Burns and Gracie Allen were on Vitaphone.
Alone? Oh, no, not alone. With potatoes, I could.
You could? So were the Ingenues. The Ingenues were a really popular all-female band that did the vaudeville circuit, and they toured the world. In fact, I am making a documentary right now about the Ingenues, and this disc is going to be in that film. You could see the trailer by clicking in the link in the description. Now, the Ingenues were known for playing jazz, for popular music, and also classical music, and they combined it. And these women were young, they were talented, they had to play at least 5 instruments in order to be in the Ingenues. In 1928, they filmed 2 shorts for Vitaphone in New York. One of them was the band Beautiful, and that is the disc that we have right here. It is a 9-minute short with 5 musical numbers. What's unique about this short is that it involved multiple cameras. And so Vitaphone was experimenting with this system while using different cameras and different camera angles. And what you have here is a very unique film for a very unique band. And so we are going to play the first song right here on this disc. But what is interesting about Vitaphone, in order to sync up the disc with the film, these discs play from the center out instead of what we normally think of records going from the outside in. There is a marker that the projectionist would line up. It says start, and they would put it there. And so the audience would be listening to a record that has been synced to the film. Now, of course, this system is not going to last for extremely long. They're going to develop the sound on film technique, but up until then, for a few years, this is the way that audiences first experienced talkies. So let's take a listen to the Ingenues from June of 1928. Here we go. There's something so cool about listening to, actual film history right here, listening to the way sound was first delivered successfully in a theater full of people. And at 33 1/3 RPMs, that made it easy to sync up to the roughly 24 frames a second that film provided in order to sync things up. And it's kind of interesting that that would become the standard going into the long play record that we know of today. At home, people are listening to 78s. There's actually a 78 needle on this shellhead right here, on this cartridge, in order to play this disc. But people were at home listening to 78s. In theaters, 33 1/3. And then later, when vinyl became the standard instead of shellac, which the 78s were, they would go to 33 1/3 long play records. And then, of course, you get the 7-inch records as well, the 45s that we know and love. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. More information about antique audio can be found at bellbookcamera.com. You can also listen to my radio station called Vinyl Voyage Radio by going to vinylvoyageradio.com. More information about our films can be found at bellbookcamera.com, and there you can also find a trailer for the new film, Ginny and Jewel, that will have a whole segment on this Ingenues disc. Thanks for watching.